Well, dinosaur fossils are discovered all over the U.S., including in our own backyard, but now you're invited to see fossils that were found in the PD.
ABC 15's Amanda Kinseth is live at the Horry County Museum in Conway to explain. Good morning.
What I've got going on here is I've collected some samples of limestone from the PD formation, and I've put the samples of limestone in a vat of acetic acid, which is basically just really strong vinegar. The acid breaks down the limestone, leaving behind clay, sand, and the bone fossils. What I'm going to do now is take a sample that I've been letting run for about a week and carefully pour it through a sieve, 2 sieves in fact. And what this will do is allow the water, dissolved limestone, and clays through, but it will capture bone and sand. Obviously I'm not that interested in the sand, but if there's any bone in there, this process will capture it.
So this is the process that you do every time you go through this stuff?
Yes. Hundreds of these things I've processed over 20 years or so.
Okay. And so do we find anything? Is there anything in there?
Right now, the larger sieve doesn't seem to have much of anything in it, but the smaller sieve, we have, okay. Something white behind it. You can see some very fine, small particles of bone and sand in there. And then what I'd have to now do is go to the microscope with this.
Right.
And I have other samples over there to look at already under the microscope. But this is the whole process right here.
Oh, wow. And we'll actually be going to the microscope next to look at some stuff. But what are you going to do this weekend? You're going to kind of tell people about it and people get to see the fossils.
There's numerous. This is a very rich, fossil-rich area around here. The fossils I'm working with are from what is called the age of dinosaurs, or the Upper Cretaceous. So far I haven't found any dinosaur material, but we find lots of mosasaur, which is kind of a large lizard, lots of shark teeth, and lots of other types of fish teeth, fish jaws, fish scales. And
so interesting to find and look at that stuff and know that so long ago, it was right here living.
This whole area was basically underwater. Fairly close to the shore. The shoreline 65 million years ago was up in the Florence area, the area we call the Sand Hills. The Sand Hills was the beach.
That used to be the beach, and here we are at the beach now. That's why we can find all those fossils, guys.
Wow, fascinating. It's weird to think of that, the water going all the way into the PD, but a lot can change over these years.
It's amazing. Kind of makes you think a little bit about, what it was like back then.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn more, Donald is doing this presentation at the Horry County Museum this Saturday at 1 o'clock.
That's right. And the event is actually free, and everyone is welcome to attend.
All right. Well, if you are interested in dinosaurs and fossils, there's a presentation this weekend you might want to check out. You'll also learn about the history of our area. ABC 15's Amanda Kinseth is live at the Horry County Museum to explain. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. And it's so interesting to look through and to find stuff. I know for you, you said it's like Christmas every day that you look through and, you might find a tooth or a bone or something like that.
Yeah, and sometimes it's quite obvious when you just look at it that there's plenty of bone in the material that's being processed. On the other hand, sometimes you get a sample that basically looks like it's mostly just sand. But in that sample of nothing but sand, or what appears to be nothing but sand, is a shark's tooth.
Yeah, and you have to look for a while to find that?
It varies tremendously. This one I processed this sand material, a week ago, and it took about an hour to go through it to find the one shark's tooth. This material over here, you can look through for just a second and immediately start seeing shark's teeth. So it varies tremendously on the sample that I'm working with.
Yeah, well, when you take a look at this through the microscope, it's amazing. Boom, the stuff is just, really pops out at you. But even looking like this, I mean, even the people at home can probably see the different shark's teeth in there.
Basically anything that they can see that looks black is bone or a shark's tooth.
Wow. I see a lot of black stuff in there. And that's all stuff that was here, what, 65 million years ago?
65 million years ago, yes, ma'am.
All right, a long time ago, and we can see it now, and that's part of the really neat thing, and you can come check it out this weekend. Back to you.
Thank you, Amanda Kinzit, live for us at the Horry County Museum, and that's where the presentation's happening. Donald is going to start speaking at 1 o'clock. It's free to attend, and everyone's welcome.
Well, speaking of some really cool things, dinosaur fossils are discovered all over the U.S., including in our own backyard, but now you're invited to see fossils that were found right here in the PD.
ABC 15's Amanda Kinzit is live at the Horry County Museum checking these out. Good morning.
Good morning, and I don't want to scare you, but look at this. This is a fish tooth. This is not a fish that I want to be swimming next to.
And the oceans around here 65 million years ago were full of fish with teeth that big or bigger.
Gosh, I can't even imagine. Yeah, and so we're taking a look here. This is your collection of what you have.
Right. This is all material from 65 million years ago. It's all material from basically the Florence County, and Marion County, and almost all of it comes from banks of the PD River. She showed you a fish tooth. One of the specimens that I particularly find more interesting is this perfectly preserved 65 million year old fish scale.
Huh. Oh, wow.
And other people are probably more interested in the things like this, which is a mosasaur tooth, a large lizard-like reptile.
Oh. Okay.
And other mosasaur teeth I've got are like this one.
Huh. Yeah, because a lot of people think that the big stuff is really interesting, but you like all the small stuff too.
I like the small stuff also. Speaking of fairly big things, crocodile tooth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want one of those to sink into me either.
For some reason, just lots of things. Maybe it's just the stuff that gets fossilized, but a lot of what I collect had really big teeth. This is partially broken, but this is part of a sawfish tooth.
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully when you are out there in the ocean, you don't meet any fish or beings that have teeth this big, because that might be kind of scary. But you can check out all the fossils here this Saturday. Back to you.
Fascinating, and Donald's going to be putting on that presentation there at the Horry County Museum. Like you mentioned, Amanda mentioned, that is this Saturday, and it starts at 1 o'clock.
The event is free and everyone is welcome to attend. And speaking of kids, maybe your kids like dinosaur fossils, and there's actually a presentation this weekend that you might want to check out.
You can also learn about the history of our area. ABC 15's Amanda Kinzit is live at the Horry County Museum checking it out this morning.
Good morning. That's right. The fossils are really interesting, and we're kind of pointing out some fossils right here that you have out in an exhibit.
Yeah, these fossils are on a permanent collection exhibit here, and they show everything. What's interesting about Horry County, of course, it was underwater, out of water, underwater, out of water. So here we have got fossils of land mammals and marine mammals. So you were pointing out earlier the great big claw.
Yeah, that's right down here.
Came out of a giant sloth. So at one time we had like 12-foot tall sloths here. Of course, camels, mastodon, and mammoth, prehistoric horse, and lots and lots and lots of fish and shark fossils here. This particular collection all came out of the intercoastal waterway.
Wow, and you can see the teeth, the mammoth tooth and the shark's teeth. They're huge.
Yeah, so the environment at that time was able to support really, really large wildlife. And so we see that evidenced in our fossil collection here.
Can you imagine standing next to a 12-foot sloth?
12-foot sloth eating giant tree limbs, yeah. And a mastodon bellowing in the background.
Man, just to think that was happening right here, however long ago. And you can check out all the fossils this Saturday. Pretty interesting stuff. Back to you.
Definitely. All show, we were talking to Donald. He's the one putting on the presentation, and that is this Saturday at 1 o'clock.
And the best news is the event is free and everyone is welcome to attend.